Boys and girls, and welcome to Mrs. Hoover's art class. Today we're going to make a soft sculpture. One of my favorite artists is an artist named Klaus Oldenburg, and he made soft sculptures. His sculptures aren't like what you might be used to seeing. Maybe you're used to seeing sculptures that are made out of marble or stone that might be sitting in front of a building or inside the lobby of a building. But these sculptures are soft sculptures. They're made out of fabric. I really love looking at some of his sculptures, so let's look at those right now. Okay, so we're going to do our own soft sculpture. We're going to make some pizza, and this I think will be really fun because we're going to sew. So you will need to have scissors and a needle, and some embroidery yarn, and some felt, a pencil, a ruler, plus you will need some fabric glue. So let's get started. So this is a regular 9 by 12 inch piece of felt, and to start my pizza I'm going to fold this corner up. This is going to be my crust. So this corner here, this edge folds up along this side right here. Now I'm going to use my ruler, and since I know this is 9 inches across, I'm going to measure from this corner up here 9 inches, and I'm going to make a little mark. Okay, so I made a little mark there. Then I'm going to draw a curved line from this point to that point. And I use my, see how I do my pencil on the side like that? It's just easier with felt to do that. Alrighty, now I'm ready to cut out my pizza crust. So I'm holding these two together. If you want to pin them together, you can do that. Make it easier for you to keep it from slipping. You can certainly put a pin in here, right in here. Alright, so there's my pizza. Now I'm going to add the layers on top. Okay, so now I'm ready to add my pizza sauce. So I've got a scrap of red, and I'm going to cut out another triangle shape with this red. And again, I'll use my side of my pencil to trace around my pizza crust right there, and I'm going to cut that out. All right. Now I want some of my pizza crust to show around the outside, so I don't want to cover it solidly with red. So I'm going to have my pizza sauce be wiggly and be smaller than my pizza crust. So I'm just going to trim around the edge of this sauce with a curvy line. It doesn't have to be exact, just kind of, not the same, just in and out how pizza sauce would be. Some parts are going to be in curvy lines, not curvy and all the same, some smaller curvy, bigger curvy, and I can always adjust it. All right, set that aside. So there's my pizza sauce. All right, I think I'm going to bring that in a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, awesome. Now I am going to glue on some pieces onto my pizza, like I might want to have some mushrooms. Okay, so I have found some scraps of felt, and I'm going to cut out some different shapes. So maybe I will use this orangish color and make some pepperoni, which would just be some circles. And if I want to go faster, I can double my fabric over, cut some more circles. I like pepperoni, and you can put anything you want to on your pizza. So I'm going to put some pepperoni pieces on there and one more. Okay, then I think I want some little pieces of cheese, so I can cut some strips for my scraps. And I just lay them randomly on there. And some green pepper. So that's what this green is for. It's a little bit more curved. I can double this over and do 2 of them at once. I think I'm going to do that. So I'm making just 2 little green pepper shapes like that. Can you see that? There we go. So I'll make some more of those. So I'm going to use the tan that I had for my pizza crust to make some mushrooms. Now, if you need to draw on your felt in order to figure out what the mushroom, to draw your mushroom on there first, rather than just cutting it out, I like to just cut it out. Here's a mushroom, but feel free to draw it on there. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's what I love about art. And if I want to, I'm just loading this pizza up, I can use some of this yellow and make maybe some shorter cheese strips, just to add some variety. This is pretty loaded. That is looking very full and delicious. So I'm going to take everything off and put it back on again. So let's glue the pizza sauce on the pizza first. All right, so now I'm just going to glue on the different parts of my pizza. To use a brush. That looks pretty full. Looks pretty delicious. Well, so now my pizza looks delicious and it is time for me to sew it up. So I have a needle here and I have some embroidery thread. This is what embroidery yarn or embroidery thread looks like. It comes in a skein like this. And I've got some brown here to use. So first thing we need to do is we need to thread our needle. This is the eye of the needle where it has the hole there at the end. And we need to fit the thread through the needle. Now there's several ways to do this. You can just try to thread it through, and sometimes that is successful. This has a pretty big eye, and I can get it through. However, sometimes that's pretty tough to do, so there's different things you can do. This is a little tool here, and you can see it has this tiny bit of wire. I don't even know if you can see that. Little tiny wire there. I can fit this wire pretty easily through the eye, and then I can take my yarn or thread, I can put it through the wire and then pull it through the needle, the eye of the needle, and it's threaded. So that works really great. But what if you don't have that tool? Then you can do something just with a piece of paper. So I've got a little strip of paper here, and I've made it as thin or as narrow, and I made it as narrow as the needle. And then I just fold it in half. It works pretty much like the same principle as the tool. And I push this through the eye of the needle. And then I'm going to open it up. I can kind of push on it that way. And then I take my thread, put it through that opening, and then I can pull that through the eye of my needle. So that works too. So now we have our needle threaded. And I'm going to pull it through like this and even up the ends and then tie a knot in the end of my thread. So I'm going to loop it around, behind, and through. Okay. So on my pizza, I need to leave a little bit of space to stuff it with my stuffing. So I'm going to start over here. And I'm going to do what's called a whip stitch. Now a whip stitch is really great for sewing two pieces together. It's very easy to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it. You're going to start in the back. So I'm going to start back here, and I'm going to push through, pull it all the way through until the knot stops it. So it's stopped right here. Okay? And then I'm going to go back around to the back again. Kind of go not too far away from it. See where I'm going in? And push it through again. Now if your pieces don't line up very well, you can take straight pins and pin them in place. So I'm going to go back here, push it through. Okay, so there's a stitch. And I always start in the back. Close to the end here where my yarn is getting pretty short. So since my thread is getting short, I am going to knot it and get some more thread. So I'm going to cut it off and tie a knot, just like you tie your shoes. And then I'll get some more thread. my thread gets to be too short and I can't sew anymore, I simply cut it off and I'll tuck it on the inside of my pizza. And then I'll get some more thread and do the same thing. Knot it at the end and keep on sewing. Okay, I'm going to put a knot in the end. Let me show you how I did that. I wrap this around and take my needle behind that so it's nice and close to my fabric. Then I'm going to take my needle and stuff it through the center. Whoops. Just go through there just to kind of hide the rest of the thread in there. And then I'll trim it off and that won't come out. So I have some stuffing. Big old bag of stuffing. Way more than I need. And I just pull out some stuffing and I start putting it in. And make it as thick as I want my pizza to be. Sometimes if you have a little point down there, you can use a pencil or a paintbrush and you can push it down to the points. It's easier to do it that way. Now I'm going to get my thread and needle and I'm going to whip stitch the rest of this closed. I like to start on the inside of the first one and I can hide my knot inside there. Okay, and take this around to the back. I'm going to take this around to the back and tie a knot. And then I'll take my yarn, my needle, and poke it through to hide that little bit. Now you notice here, as I made my pizza, I actually cut it back because I think that I needed some more of this crust here to show. So I cut that back a little bit. That looks delicious. Boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed making your pizza sculpture. I would love to see your artwork, so if you want to, you can take a picture of it and send it to Mrs. Hoover's Art Class at gmail.com. And remember, every day is a great day to make art. Bye!